I have a brother. I have a brother. Give it up for that orchestra. Here it comes. It's magical. Give it up for that orchestra. This is when they made movies great. Yeah, Kevin Costner, still killing it on Yellowknife. Now, we start off in the Middle East. Crusades have failed, and our young Robin Hood is seen better days. All right, welcome back to Johnny's Corner. Just doing a little live review for you today. I wanted to tell you that, sorry, Sunday I didn't get to do the review I wanted to do. We're going to do Salvador by Oliver Stone, a great director. Did things like Natural Born Killers, very crazy film. Really good at depicting our media and depicting how our media is pretty much captured by government ties, CIA ties, military ties, and how it's controlled, and it's bought by the highest bidder. But in Salvador, I'm going to get into that in a full HD video because I think it's an important film, and even with the silliness in the film with our James Woods character. But I'll get in that later. Right now, we're talking about Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, 1990, I believe. James G. Robinson presentation, Morgan Creek Productions, and directed by Kevin Reynolds. Phenomenal 90s masterpiece. Just has everything. It has action, it has glory, romance, story, villains, evil, good versus evil, traditions, and humor. Great humor in it as well. Because I'm so long. There's so many classic characters and lines in this film. Little John, or should I call you John Little, or whatever the hell they say. Christian Slater is in this film in its peak. Morgan Freeman. I think this is probably when people fell in love with Morgan Freeman. It was from this film. His character. He's a guy that escaped the prison system in the Middle East with his savior, Robin Hood, or Robin of Locksley. And they escape. They break bread. Really, it's a fruit. It's a great scene. They break this fruit after they escape. They pull the hangman in and cut off his hand. They escape. And they ride a boat all the way back to England. And our warrior lands on England, starts kissing the dirt, the sand, and just thankful to be back home. He's come home to a different world. He gets attacked right on shore. Morgan Freeman backs him up, whoops their asses. He's a good fighter himself. He's kind of like a warlock in that time, but really just a medicine man and a spiritual man and a learned man. And Morgan Freeman's character is definitely one of the best in the film. So Robin Hood shows back at England. He's on his way back to his castle. He's actually a lord of sorts. His father is the Duke of the Land or something like that. But his father is related to the king. And so he's traveling back. On his way back, he sees this kid getting chased down by some uh, so-called King's Guard. And he says, why does it take 12 men to hunt down a kid? So he intervenes, throws a crossbow at a guy's head. You got the guy from The Crow, Canadian actor. His name is escaping me, but I'll look it up soon. I think it's Michael Bannon, or not Michael Bannon, but Hannon or something. And yeah, very deep voice. Very raspy voice. He's in Alien 4 Resurrection. He's in The Crow. He's in that futuristic movie with Ralph Fiennes. Can't remember what it's called, like 2000 or something. And yeah, he's in this film and he plays the cousin to Alan Rickman's character, the Sheriff of Nottingham. So forget his name, but this character is pretty much a henchman. So he's a henchman for his brother or his cousin, and they get whooped. And before they get whooped by Robin Hood, he's like, "May I get your name before I have you run through?" He's like, "Loxley, Robin of Loxley." He's like, "I heard you were dead." Some kind of line. It's great. Great crossbow at the face scene. Or like he throws a sword at him, hits him in the nose, breaks his nose through the shield, and he lets this warden live, and he tells him, "Tell him I'm back home. Tell anyone who needs to know Robin of Locksley's back home." So long story short, he arrives at the castle, and prelude to the scene is you find what happens to his dad, and he gets attacked by a bunch of cloaked, looked like a bunch of fucking skinheads or KKK or some shit, but a bunch of white men in capes on horses, and don't go out there, you know. But he does it for honor, so he gets killed. So they burn down his castle. Robin Hood comes home to find his castle in ruin, and his dad hung up in a bird cage, a human-sized bird cage, top of the castle with his eyes taken out and what looks like he's been tortured. So not a very nice homecoming for our hero. He hears some scattering around after he takes down his dad, and turns out to be the old butler, Alfred or something. I can't remember his name. It's not Alfred. But so he's like, "Why didn't you cut down my dad?" He's like, "If I could see, I would." And he's been blinded by them as well. They let him live in torment. So we skip to a new scene. He's in the courtyard. He's buried his father. A couple kind words, and revenge is on his mind. So he takes this butler, this blind butler. He takes his new counterpart, Morgan Freeman's character, and they venture on to the next homestead, which is like his cousin or cousin-in-law or something like that. Anyways, he used to pick on this chick, so he shows up. He's not greeted too well. He gets a nice butch butt whooping, and it's a good scene. She's a fighter herself. She's got some cool armor. You think it's some ninja, but it's her, and he burns her. Anyways, she's like, "Why should I help you? All I remember of you was a bully, you know?" And she's like, "He's just like about our family, blah, blah, blah." So in the distance, they see that there's some cavalry headed their way, and they're probably not too happy that he just bested a bunch of sheriff's best men. So you got this guy Morgan Freeman. He's kind of like an engineer. He's a genius. He gets like bifocals. He puts them together, makes a telescope with like glass, and like it's a funny scene. Sean Robin Hood or Kevin Costner. He looks through the thing and he thinks they're right in front of him, like it's like a video game or something. So that was a funny scene. But the music alone and the production value is like top caliber. They really went all Hollywood into this, but it worked. In the '90s, it really worked. Even if you watch Bodyguard, The Bodyguard with Kevin Costner, it's great. It's cheesy, but it's great. But this one is just, man, imagine being a kid. I'm a little kid, and this is the movie I have. I have a VHS player. I got like Tom Sawyer, Top Gun, Jurassic Park, and this movie. But this movie is way before all of them. It's one of the first. And just, I used to play all day in the backyard making makeshift bow and arrows. And I had an actual cassette tape of this movie for, I don't know how I got it, but I demanded it. And I had a cassette tape, and I would play this on this little stereo outside my house, and me and my brother would run around playing Robin Hood, and it was nothing better. It's the best times. So, anyways, we left off. So now they're on the run again. So they got the horses, but one of the horses got shot by an arrow, so it's gone limp a bit, and they can't outrun them. So the only thing they can think of is to go into this forest. Now this forest is considered haunted and full of cutthroats and thieves, and it's just not a place you want to go if you're a lord. So they venture in. There's a great scene. He pulls the, I guess, the arrow out of the horse's butt, and he's like, "We either face the ghosts or we become ghosts ourselves." And he throws it at the camera. It's so good. We'll move forward. He meets up with these bandits. They want to pay a toll. Robin Hood's got an ego. He fights Little John. They fly into the river, blah, blah, blah. Little John can't swim. He yields. And they become friends with these bandits. And they're called, I forget what they're called. But I wouldn't say they're his merry men yet. But anyways, there's this kid, and it's played by Christian Slater, and he's not trusting this Robin Hood guy for some reason. So you're looking at that, and then so they spend night, and all of a sudden he's saying, "No, I'm going to lead you." He's found his little army, I guess, and the ego of being a lord or a rich person, he's going to do it, and he believes he is, and he does. But there's people that aren't so happy about it. He even he plays a hobo. He travels into town, into the castle, and he meets Maid Marian once again, and he meets with the priest and finds out the priest is saying that his dad's a Satanist and this shit. And he's like, no fucking way. But he gets visited by our evil sheriff. And Sheriff's just going to talk to his priest, and he gets slashed in the face. Now, Sheriff has an ego. He's a sadistic, raised by a witch. You'll meet her later. He's a piece of work, I'll say that much. And so he gets slashed in the face. His vanity. They're trying to kill him. He escapes and steals Sheriff's horse. So the Sheriff's not too impressed with this guy so far. So there's a scene later with the sheriff and his cousin, the raspy voice guy, Michael Bannon or Brannon, or I don't know. It's not Shannon. And because Michael Shannon's he's probably 10 years old at this time. He's probably my age. And then, so he's not too impressed. He's in they got this new Spanish steel. They're like, oh, I'm going to kill this motherfucker. And he's like, I'm going to cut out his heart with a spoon. His cousin's like, why a spoon? Why not an axe? Because it's dull, you twit. It'll hurt more. Alan Rickman, what a great villain. We remember him from Die Hard and many others, I guess. I never really watched many Harry Potters, but he's in that. And then, so there's a battle brewing. I failed to mention that the king is not home, so the king is putting Sheriff Nottingham in charge, so he's gone on the crusade still. And I guess I'm getting too into this one. I'm getting really into it, but I will say that there's some hardship battles. They start robbing all the lords in the neighborhood in the area. Anyone who comes through is not safe through through the forget the woods they call it, Nottingham Woods, I think. And so they're robbing everyone. They're making mad gold. Lady Marion's not too impressed. She calls it blood money, but he's like, yeah, with this money I could stop blood. Blah blah blah. The classic Robin Hood tale, but it's just never been done at this depth. It's just awesome entertainment. Now, the best part of this movie is that after a while of Robin Hood robbing everyone to give to the poor from the rich, rich to the poor, blah blah blah. So in this version, Sheriff of Nottingham not only he has all this Spanish steel, but he's now decided to hire a bunch of barbarians, a bunch of engineers, you name it, to destroy these motherfuckers, giving him a bad name in his mind. And yeah, there's some barbarian war tribes that attack our settlement with our merry men. Because I'm so wrong, is that scene. But anyways, it's a great moment. The action sequences, the explosions, you wouldn't think you could see this kind of thing in epic olden fairy tale story, you know. So it was really cool how they made it make sense with like gunpowder and stuff. And so mostly a lot of them die. A lot of good people die, including Little John. And you know, they got one shot left. They're like, we need to go in there, capture our people, because a bunch of their people were kidnapped, and they're gonna be killed. Including, he finds out that Christian Slater, spoiler alert, is his brother. So that's a pretty cool one. And I have a brother. I have a brother. Or no, Christian Slater's still there, but they get in a little squabble, and then he hugs him. It's a good scene. And they have to capture John Little's son. Can't remember if I think Little John survives. I think his wife dies, and she's like pregnant or something. I don't know. It's a romantic, crazy scene. You got Bryan Adams singing in the background, and he's swinging from vines. They're on fire. It's just a great film. Yeah, Bryan Adams did the song "Everything I Do It for You," and it was probably one of the biggest hits at that time. And it had a lot of the videos from the movie, a lot of the scenes in the music video. So that was definitely a money maker, game changer for those kind of movies. And so yeah, the long story short is they siege war on this castle. They sneak in. There's a scene where Robin Hood rubs horse crap all over himself, and he's like, "You smell like shit." And there's another good scene where they use a catapult to clear a wall, and Christian Slater's like, "Fuck me, he cleared it." And and then I'll get back to the good scene. So nearing the end, there's this witch I didn't mention, right? She's like pretty much whispering in the sheriff's ear all the time what to do. And there's a scene earlier where she's like, "The painted man, he haunts my dreams," and talking about it like just a black guy. It's Morgan Freeman, but apparently he's a wizard or something. But it's just so funny, silly scene. But she gets a nice spear through her later on. But yeah, there's a final battle. I'm pretty sure the sheriff has his dad's sword or something. But anyways, there's a good ending there with a little knife stabbing, and that was the same knife that stabbed his dad or something. I don't know. I'm coming from memory here. Don't quote me. But just an awesome epic, and you heard that music on the intro, and it was wicked. So yeah, if you want a good time, Oh, and if for the ladies out there, you get to see Sean Connery's butt, which as a kid I was like, that's unnecessary. But anyways, oh, woo, hey, my lady, don't look. It's a hilarious scene. But yeah, take a look at the back. You got it's hard to see here. Let me block that light. But yeah, we got our hero. We got Maid Marian, Christian Slater with his shirt off, Alan Rickman, and Morgan Freeman. But yeah, this copy seen better days. Seen better days. So this was the first copy that I had as a kid, and I still have it. I have other versions, but I thought I'd pull this thing out. It's still alive. Still works great. But yeah, Robin Hood, what a epic film. Oh, and at the end of the film, Sean Connery turns out to be the king, and he comes in. There's a good little cameo there. Anyways, next movie, Deliverance. John Voight, Ronnie Cox, Ned Beatty, Burt Reynolds, and some weirdos. John Boorman film. He did Emerald Forest, which is one of my favorite films with Powers Booth, and his son plays the kid in that. But anyways, I got this Deliverance copy. I know I did a review on this before, but I just want to talk about it again. Look at that copy. Still sealed, original case, Warner Brothers. But Deliverance, I'm just going to do a 1-minute recap on Deliverance. So Deliverance is a bunch of weekend warriors who want to get away from their wives. They want a guy's night out. This river is going to be gone. They're going to flood this whole area, so there won't be a river. It'll just be water. They decide to go down there. They've been there when they were kids, but times change. There's a rural mountain community of inbred people, weirdos, whiskeys, makers and bootleggers, and just overall weird place to be. They go down there. They travel through the water. They make an arrangement with some hillbillies to drive their cars down at the end of the reservoir. So they think they can ride this river. It's way too heavy for them. They pull over one side. You got Ned Beatty bitching. You got Ronnie Cox bitching. You got John Voight enjoying himself. And you got Burt Reynolds bragging. And there's a lot of Burt Reynolds scenes, which is weird. But they stumble upon a little whiskey bootlegging, and some inbred mofos decide they want a little male rape action. So that happens. It's a little disturbing, maybe a lot. And they kill these guys. They kill one of them at least. And they're thinking, all right, let's get the hell out of here. But one of them gets shot, apparently. I thought it was a suicide. Who knows? I'd have to talk to the director, John Boorman. But eventually, John Voight has this epic climb up a mountain. Burt Reynolds is injured, and he goes face to face with a hillbilly, kills him. Now, when the story gets really interesting, is like just them explaining their story to all their kin, all their, the sheriff's probably the bootlegger's uncle, or nephew. So it was an interesting scene, a lot of stress, a lot of tension, but good music, filmed well, classic. And if you watch any horror movie, they're like, man, I'm getting a Deliverance vibe. It's a little too Deliverance-y for me. It's in every film. Anyways, I've been over that before ad nauseum. So we'll move on to the next one. Now, last one, Lucio Fulci. That's right. So Lucio Fulci did movies like Zombie, The Beyond, great obscure classics from the 70s. And he's Italian, right? So Italian movies. And it would do dubbing. So the dubbing wouldn't be that great, but it was still good. Now this one I'm talking about is called The House by the Cemetery. I'm sorry, it's hard to see. I used to have the big box version, but, I can't keep every version of every film, and someone offers you $100 or $150 for a movie, you go, sure, fine. But I always keep at least one copy, and I do have another copy somewhere else. But this is a nice Anchor Bay version. Probably the best quality you can get. Anchor Bay VHS. For instance, Zombie, I have that on Anchor Bay, and there's no other copy that's unedited uh, from it. Like, it's pretty much untouched from his original version. You got to remember, when these movies came out, they were banned all over the UK, in the States. They were just too graphic. People couldn't handle them. But The House by the Cemetery, man, this movie is awesome. Like, it's a little annoying. It's a little weird, but if you can get over like weird stuff like that, like the beginning, there's a kid and it's this weird looking kid. It's probably the guy's nephew, the director's nephew, who knows? And he sounds like a girl. And the dubbing's a little bit bad, but if you get past that, it starts getting creepy. So you find out that it's, don't quote me on this, but it's just about a young family. They're living in New York, shitty apartment, and they get this deal on this house. It's a huge house in a small town. Sounds great. And there's something to it where the father, he's like a scientist or a historian, and he knows that there's like used to be like a Nazi who owned this house or something, and he was doing like some crazy research as Nazis do that we find out in these movies. But so he wanted to continue his research or something. Um, but it's no ordinary house. Like the deranged Dr. Frodstein, he did monstrous human experiments there, and apparently there's something alive in the basement still. So there's some cool scenes where there's like staircases that go flat, like people under the stairs, and doors lock automatically. So this house has like been organized by an insane sociopathic genius who's made it like a prison. So it could lock, like if whoever was controlling this house could lock every door. It's just not very good. So there's been murders and human experimentation. But we find out later that this Dr. Frodstein is still alive. He should be dead. And like he's alive, like he's pretty much a zombie. So he's discovered like ways to keep you alive forever, even if your body's decomposing. So he has like I'm not sure, like it's weird. It's like a gremlin counterpart person. It's like half kid, half demon. So sometimes it's like crying, like, and then sometimes it's like, rah, and it's just really weird. And like one hand's normal, one's not. And man, how many times I watch this, I don't think I'll ever get the definition of what's really going on unless I speak Italian, maybe. But maybe I need to find another version. But it's just really hard to follow. And so there's like a nanny. She's trying to bang the young doctor with his family, and she's all slutty, and there's some shit going on there. And then eventually she gets killed, and just people keep going missing. But by the end of the film, you got this mother and son. They're stuck in this basement, and there's literally Nazi, demon, zombie things coming after them, and there's like grotesque stuff, and like you stab them and maggots come out, and it's great. I mean, it's fucked up, but like this is why you're watching this channel. Crazy movies that no one knows about. So The House by the Cemetery, if you're looking for something spooky, grotesque, and just different, yeah, like that hand, that's the normal hand, and there's a crazy scene. That's an axe there. So there's a crazy scene where the kid gets locked down there and they can't open the door, the parents. So they're like, get away from the door. I'm going to use an axe. And then the monster puts the face next to the door. It's just like really Dario Argento-esque, where they have a lot of hand movements, POV hand things. So like from here. And yeah, The House by the Cemetery, Lucio Fulci. Check it out. Great film. And that's all I got for today. So hope you enjoyed it. We'll be doing more high def videos later. Just want to keep you guys in the loop and make sure you have some content to watch. And feel free to send a message and anything you want to see. I'll be happy to review it. All right, take care for now. Ciao. Johnny's Corner.